Hello to everyone, and thanks for joining us today. As DeShanta said, my name is Pam Grimo, and I'd like to welcome you to today's Oracle Advisor Webcast. Siebel Reports, BI Publisher Installation and Configuration. Our speaker today is Chetan Gurkuri. We expect today's presentation to last approximately 60 minutes, including a brief Q&A. Today's recorded PowerPoint presentation, along with the audio, can be found on My Oracle Support under My Oracle Support Training Central. Then select Recorded Training. New webcast will be posted approximately 48 hours after the presentation. A word of instruction. Those wanting to ask a question may do so by either using the chat feature or via your phone connection. Chat questions will be read aloud at the end of this presentation. What you see on your screen at this time is a reminder that this advisor webcast is intended for informational purposes only. Any features or functionality described for Oracle's products remains at the sole discretion of Oracle. Now, let's get started with our presentation. Chetan, if you're ready, I'll turn the webcast over to you, and you can begin.
Thank you, Pam. Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for attending today's advisor webcast. My name is Chetan Gurkuri. I work in the Oracle Software Support Group as a Principal Support Engineer, as you can all see. Today's agenda and today actually we'll be discussing more about the Siebel CRM reports and the Oracle BI Publisher product, which now comes integrated with the Siebel CRM product, and then we need to do some configuration, we need to do some installation and configuration in order to set it up and to get that Siebel and BI Publisher reporting solution integrated. So if you guys are all ready, let's begin this. The agenda for today is we'll take an overview of the Siebel reports feature and try to understand what it is. We would also take an overview of the Oracle BI Publisher product and understand what it can do. We will take a look at the Siebel reports architecture so you guys all understand how and what it takes to run a Siebel report. Installing Oracle BI Publisher would be the next thing that we would go. Take a deep dive into it, understand what is needed, how BI Publisher is installed, what are the different modes that are offered. We would then do the configuration of BI Publisher. Now, again, this webcast strictly concentrates on the BI Publisher side of the reporting configuration. There is a Siebel side reporting configuration which is done on the Siebel side, which we are not going to discuss it here. But again, this is strictly configuring BI Publisher so that it can be used with Siebel for the Siebel reporting. We would also have a quick demonstration of whatever we learned into the slides and the presentation, and I would show you how we could run a simple Siebel CRM report using the BI Publisher product. So that's our first topic. Let's try to understand what Siebel reports are, or what are the offerings. So Siebel CRM report applications, generally it's just like any other enterprise applications where we have a front-end application and then all of its users, they do require some kind of reporting so that they can pull some data out of the application and present it to their users or the business users or the people that may be reading it. So Siebel CRM offers two reporting solutions. One with a third-party company called Actuate. Now this reporting solution is no longer supported by Oracle. And what we are trying to do is we are trying to move away from Actuate because of obviously some licensing considerations, and with the product strategy that we have to have Oracle products integrated with the other Oracle products. So that's why we are moving into the Oracle BI Publisher Enterprise product, and that is replacing Actuate. So we already have a lot of Siebel customers who are using Siebel for a long time, and then we have these integration patches available for various releases of Siebel. We have Siebel 7.8, 7.7, Siebel 8.0, Siebel 8.1. So all of these releases have the BI Publisher integration available now. Then since we also offer almost like 119 BI Publisher reports out of the box. So most of the Siebel functionalities where we already had Actuate reports got converted, and we have BI Publisher reports which are available out of the box. So you can just go and run them. That's about it. We also give the capability, obviously, for designing custom reports, and that can be done using the Siebel Tools client that comes with Siebel, and then the BI Publisher desktop plugin, which actually gets installed into your Microsoft Word, and it's very simple to use that plugin and get a report out of it. So that's for the custom reports. We do offer this conversion assistant tool. It's called the Actuate Conversion Assistant tool, which is available for conversion of Siebel Actuate reports to the Siebel BI Publisher reports. Now, this tool is also available on our website, or it's available on e-delivery as well. So, you can download that, and you can do some basic conversion from Actuate to BI Publisher. So it gives you a nice tool where you can convert your Actuate layout into a BI Publisher layout, and then you can start using that layout as a starter for further designing that report. Now let's talk more about the Oracle BI Publisher product. Now this product is actually an enterprise product. It's not that just it is available for Siebel, but it can be used by its own. It can be, it's a very simple, it offers simple to design, and it's an easy to use reporting solution. It can be integrated with other Oracle products like Oracle Business Intelligence. There is PeopleSoft, JD Edwards. We have the Oracle E-Business Suite that also offers now the Oracle BI Publisher as its reporting tool. So there are integrations available, and BI Publisher Enterprise can be used on its own, so it can actually go and look into any database, and you can still run or author reports using that tool. We over here today are going to talk about the Siebel part of it, the integration with Siebel. So again, as it says, anyone who knows MS Word can author a simple Siebel BI Publisher report, because it's really a small plugin that gets added to your MS Word menu, and you can just use that right from there. It caters to a wide variety of data sources, and it delivers multiple formats, like the outputs would be in XLS format, or it can be in HTML, it can be in PDF. So there are various choices of output formats which are available, which were not available with the Actuate integration that we had with Siebel. We did not have a flexibility of a lot of output formats, but with this one, we definitely have much more. There are two particular versions, and as I say particular versions because these two versions are only certified to be used with Siebel. So if you go any version below these two or higher than these two, then we don't support that with Siebel. So the most latest version of Oracle BI Publisher is actually the 11G version, which is not yet certified. It would be certified with Siebel, I think, sometime in 8.11.7 6-pack, which would come sometime early next year. So the versions again are 10.1340 and 10.1341. So this is a nice diagram which shows you how Oracle BI Publisher operates. So towards the left-hand side of the slide, you can see all the data sources. So it tells you that the data can be coming from different sources. It can be coming from Oracle database, from Oracle BIEE, from a SQL Server DB, from any ERP applications like Oracle E-Business Suite, PeopleSoft, Siebel, JD Edwards. So it has even from a web service. Okay, so those are the wide variety of data sources. Now all of these data sources would feed the data, or actually send the data in the form in an XML format. Now XML is the industry-wide format that is now acceptable, usable, and it's been around for all these years now, since we started moving to web services and the web technologies. So XML is a plain, simple format. The data gets sent to this middle portion, which is the Oracle BI Publisher server, Now, on the BI Publisher server, we have these layout templates. So we call them templates because they are like just skeleton formats where you can define the title of the report, the forms, the tables, or the layout. You can put in graphics. So all of that goes in here, and then you have these different tools which are available like Microsoft Word. You can also design a template in Adobe Acrobat. You can design a template in Excel. For Siebel, we only use the Word template. Okay, we only use the MS Word application. We don't use any other layout tools. Then, when the layout gets designed, we have these different output formats, which you can see here towards the right-hand side. So you have PDF, HTML, like Excel, PowerPoint, all kinds of output formats are available. And then towards the far right, you would see this column which says destinations. Now, it was okay like formatting report, generating report, getting into different formats, but guess what? Like this is another capability that the BI Publisher product has, where you can send that report through different delivery channels, as we call them. So it can be delivered via email, it can be delivered to a printer, a fax machine, it can be sent to a website, it can be dumped into some kind of a repository where the users can go and access it. So these are all the different kinds of destinations which are available. Now we jump into this a little discussion about how Siebel Reports architecture is, or what constitutes Siebel Reports architecture. I believe most of you who are on the call, who are attending this, they are all aware of Siebel applications, and there are two main flavors that we use as far as the client application is concerned. So we have a dedicated client and we have a web client. So in those two flavors, we have reporting capabilities, obviously, but there is a slight difference actually into the architecture of how a dedicated client report would work or how a web client report would work. Okay, so that's what we are going to roughly briefly discuss and then see how it works. In the disconnected mode, we have a machine, a user who wants to run a report can run a report. They don't need to have access to the BI Publisher server or anything else. So they can run the report on the dedicated client, and that is possible just because we have these BI Publisher libraries which are embedded into the Siebel EXE. Okay, so that's the first flavor. If you look at the second one, which is more common these days because people are now moving more towards the web client, and most of the implementations are web clients because for obvious reasons, right? Everybody likes to be on the net, on the web. So web client is also called as the connected mode architecture for Siebel reports. And what this does is we actually send reports to the BI Publisher server, and we are using a special component called as the XMLP report server component, and we integrate using this special web service. It's called the public report service. Okay, so these are the three things that you should always remember: a BI Publisher server, a specialized component sitting on the Siebel server, which is called as the XMLP report server, and the third thing to remember is a web service, which is called as the public report service. So here I just tried to put up a small diagram so you guys all understand this a little bit better. So disconnected mode, as you can see here at number 1, starts right here. You have the Siebel client, you have the Siebel CRM UI here, and let's say you are into the Siebel account screen, and then you are looking at the My Accounts view where you can see all of your accounts, and you want to run a Siebel report which is based on accounts. I can take an example of account list report. Now, when you want to run that report, you simply select that. Now, this box right here, this rectangle right here, shows Siebel.exe. What this means is all of the report features, all of the functionality actually is embedded into the Siebel code. It has this side which says BI Publisher XDO Engine jar files. So there are some Java files which are available on the Siebel client, which can do the same job as a BI publisher server would do. So that's why we say that we don't really need to be connected to a BI server. Okay, so everything gets generated locally. We have these special services. If you guys have heard about Siebel EAI, then this is the most common service, very much used in the EAI world. It's called the EAI Siebel Adapter. And then we have this XMLP business service, which is a specialized service just created for Siebel BIP reporting. So all these business service, they do a handshake, they pass along data and parameters, and everything goes to the BI publisher jar files, and then you actually get the report output generated, and that gets stored here in the Siebel file system. Okay, now this Siebel file system on a dedicated client is nothing but a files folder on the local machine where the report output would be saved. Now, on the left-hand side, you can see that the data is actually coming from the Siebel database. And then you have these special folders on the Siebel client. One of them is called as the XMLP/data, where all the data is generated. Then you have XMLP/reports, where all the report template files are stored. Okay, so the files that we discussed in the last slide, right, where we saw that, okay, some kind of layouts are needed for reports. So this particular folder stores those layouts, and we use on the Siebel, for Siebel integration, we always use the RTF files, okay, the rich text format files, as the layout. So we move on to the next slide, which shows the connected mode. Now in the connected mode, you can see there's a big difference. We now involve servers instead of that local Siebel exe file. So we have the Siebel server towards the left-hand side, and then we have the BI publisher server on the right-hand side. Now again, the interaction is somewhat similar, but here we actually get involved with the servers. Okay, so we have the Siebel CRM UI right here on the top. This is nothing but the Siebel web client. So you go in the web client, submit a report request. It goes through the Siebel application object manager. Now, as you guys all must be aware, any Siebel application, for example, Siebel Life Sciences, Siebel Sales, Siebel ePharma, all of these applications actually are tied or are actually running into a server, and there is a component specific to every application. So if you're running Siebel Pharma application, there is an ePharma object manager. If you're running Siebel Sales, there is a Siebel Sales object manager, which runs on the Siebel server machine, and that is the one which is taking all your requests and carrying out all the functional and technical aspects of it. So the report request goes through the application OM. It goes into the Siebel database. Okay, now this is a little bit different. The report request going into the database, and then there are these two components which are used in the system management, I would say. Most of these, like these two components, if you guys are aware, are like Siebel request broker or Siebel request server request processor. These two are used in a lot of server functionalities. So these two components come into play. They read the request from the database, and then they would pass it on to this component, XMLP report server component. Okay, so these two components, they pass the request to the XMLP report server component, and then this component actually goes and talks to all these different boxes here. You see, this is the EAI Siebel Adapter business service. This is another business service. All that you see with the prefix as XMLP are specialized business services which were created, and they are available in tools. You can see them, you can take a look at them. Obviously, they are not modifiable. So these are specialized business services created for this Siebel to BI integration. So all of this happens, and then what happens is when the report parameters, the report data, all of that gets assembled, and that gets fed into this public report service. Okay, now this is, in terms of web services, this is called as an outbound web service. Now why this is called as outbound? Because this is a business service which sits in Siebel tools, but this is actually a web service which is available, which is given by BI publishers. Okay. So when we actually consume a web service, we create a proxy business service in the Siebel side, and then we use that on the Siebel side as the outbound web service. So now this web service has some methods. So one of the methods is called as the generate report method. So that report method gets called, and then as a part of that report method, there are some special arguments, some parameters which are passed. Something like all of this information goes over to the BIP server on the right-hand side right here. It gets processed here. So the actual churning of the report, the data, the report generation, processing, XSL formatting, all of that is carried on the BI publisher, because this is the reporting engine. Siebel is not actually doing any reporting job. So the server processes everything and then sends back the output through this web service back to the Siebel file system. So it gets stored into the Siebel file system. So let's say a user selected a PDF format for the output. So the report will run here. A PDF file would be generated. Okay, and that would be stored right here in the Siebel file system. Now that file would be available to the end user who has actually requested the report. So he would get like a pop-up saying that, okay, do you want to see this file? Do you want to open this report? And then they can open it, they can save it, they can print it, whatever from that point. So that's all about the connected mode. Sounds a little bit complicated, but I hope you guys got the gist of it. Now let's go into the installing BI Publisher. Now what we have to do is, obviously this is a third party, not in our terms it's not a third party, but again since in Siebel terms it's a third party because it's not a part of Siebel. So you have to install this product, and as I said, it's an enterprise product which is available for download on these two sites. So we have the traditional Oracle e-delivery site, which is now, I think it has been renamed to Software Delivery Cloud, as we call it now. And this is the link, this is the part number which you have to download. And there is a specific part number, as I said, because only specific versions of BI Publisher integrate with Siebel. So you have to be very specific. That is, when you download this, you cannot download like a 10.4.3 1 dot something, or you cannot download the 11G version because that's not supported. So go by the exact part number. This is also documented in the Siebel report guide. We have the second place, which is the OTN, which most of you might know, the Oracle Technology Network. So that's another place where you can go and download this. BI Publisher can be installed in two install types. Okay, so we have these two install types, as we call them, a basic install or an advanced install. Now basic install, what this does is like it actually offers like a standalone OC4J. OC4J stands for like Oracle Containers for Java. So this is the most common implementation flavor or installation type that we use with Siebel. Okay, the second type is the advanced type. Now with this you can actually install BI Publisher to an existing Oracle application server. Now, as you guys all know, Oracle application server is diminishing. Like we are actually replacing most of it with the new Oracle WebLogic server. So this advanced install still works for the scenarios where you are still running the Oracle application server in your environment. But again, for the most part, as I said, basic install is what we use with the Siebel CRM implementations. That's what I have written here. BI Publisher can also be manually deployed to a supported J2EE application server. Okay, so that's also getting common because OC4J is a good way to implement this. But again, OC4J is not for it's not scalable. It's just and then it cannot take much of a load, a user volume. So then you would like to deploy this to an application server. So some of the application server examples are right here. We have the Oracle WebLogic server. You have the Apache Tomcat, IBM WebSphere. So any of these, and rather like most of these application servers are certified with BI Publisher, so you can use them. Now, BI Publisher can also be installed as a bundled product. Okay, now some of you guys who are already like Siebel customers, you might be aware of analytics, or now what we call as the Oracle Business Intelligence. So a lot of Siebel customers use Siebel CRM and then the OBIEE together. So for them, it's just an FYI that you can still use the BI Publisher that is bundled with your Oracle BIEE, and you can still integrate that version of BIP with Siebel. Okay, so you don't have to really like install a separate version that would be just used with Siebel. So we can still integrate with that version, provided it is still of the same version. As I said, it's 10.1341. So if you start using BI version which is higher than that, or if BI version is higher than that, then you may not be able to. Let's say if you start using 11G, then the BI Publisher which is bundled with the OBI 11G would be also 11G. Then it is not possible. But if you are using a version that has 10.1341 of BI Publisher bundled, then that can be very well used or shared with the Siebel application. So just a clarification over there. There are other products as well, like PeopleSoft and EBS, which also have BI Publisher bundled with them for reporting purposes. So with that, we actually take a look into these installation slides. Obviously with the kind of time that we have, I could not be showing you the entire installation. That would be a drag. So here are the snapshots that I took from the installation process, and I would talk through them. So as any other Oracle product, we have this famous Oracle installer, which is bundled in this setup.exe. So this is the path. You can unzip. This is the Windows version. So it shows like a Windows path, and then as it says right here, Oracle Intelligence Publisher standalone. Okay, so this means that we are going to install the basic version or the basic install type. So you just launch the setup.exe from the installation media. You specify the home location. So this is with BIP. Anytime we talk about, that's all Oracle BI Publisher. And then the path to the actual Oracle home physical path. Once you give that, you hit the next button, go to the next slide where we see what type of installation do you want. And this is what we discussed, two types, basic or advanced. So we select basic with Siebel always. Now BI Publisher can be installed with a Siebel server. There is no restriction that you cannot install it. Or for better performance and obviously for better control, it is always recommended when you go in production that you can have a dedicated server which is running BI Publisher. So that way you can handle it much better. So we select the type as basic and we hit the next button again. It will prompt for this special administrator password. This is the OC4J administrator, as it says. You can give it a password, and as it says, you can keep it in a safe place. Don't forget this. Now, then these are the summary screens. So when you hit next over there, you get this summary screen. This is the first one you get. It shows you all that it would install. So as you can see, there are these particular things. There are some SDKs. There is a Java runtime which is installed. And then here you can see that it is installing OC4J 10.1341. Okay, so that's right here. So when you hit the install button over here, it starts installing, and this is what you see until it goes to 100%. At the end of the installation, you get this readme.txt file. Okay, this is important. So it would be stored in the Oracle home, and it's called the BI Publisher readme.txt. And this has all the information which you see here. Obviously, I cannot scroll down here, but this readme.txt, and I will show you in the lab demo. It stores all the URLs. It stores the username, password that it creates. It tells you how you can access the BI Publisher server, and And you can see here, I don't know if you guys can see it very well, but again, the port number over here is 9704. That's the proprietary port on which BI Publisher is installed. And then you have a happy face right here, install completed. It's literally like I would say like a 10-minute install, and it gets completed pretty soon. Once this is done, let's move on to the next part, which is configuring BI Publisher. So you just install the software, and since it's an enterprise product, you would need to do some tweaking to it so that it gets talking to Siebel. So for that matter, we have these three main tasks. So first step, second, and third. So first step is getting some special jar files. So Siebel offers this integration through specialized jar files. Okay, now those jar files are available on the Siebel server into this folder. They are available into the classes folder under the SIEBSRVR folder of the Siebel server machine. So SIEBSRVR, this one, /classes is where you would find these jar files. Now you have to copy these files, not move them, okay? So that's another thing which people do very often. You have to copy these files to this particular location. It's a long location, but what you can see is right here. This is the OC4JBI, that's the main folder. And under that you have the J2EE, then home, applications, XMLP server, another XMLP server, webinf/lib. So LIB, that's the folder where you would copy all these jar files from the Siebel server. Now the last two, as it says, are optional. These files are actually used in the case where you are using a very famous functionality. If anyone is from the pharma industry, it's called the signature capture feature, where you are able to capture signatures into Siebel. And then let's say if you want to display those signatures into your BI Publisher reports, then you would need these two jar files to be available on the BIP server so that the signatures actually get translated into the report and you are actually able to see them in the report. If you don't have these two files there, then guess what, right? The signatures won't appear. So those two are for the signature capture feature. Now this is a particular setting on the BI Publisher server, and I'll show you where it is when we do the demo. It's called the disable external file references attribute, and we have to set it to false. It's set to true by default when you install BIP. So we have to set it to false so that it makes it work with Siebel. Then configure Siebel security model. Now this is another important task. So what will happen is when you integrate Siebel and BIP has to use the Siebel security model so that it can authenticate users against the Siebel database. Okay. So if you guys had been using, I don't know if I still want to quote that, if you were using Actuate, let's say, and if you guys don't know, that's fine. In case of Actuate, we used to actually create users on the Actuate server also. So they would be created in the Actuate encyclopedia, and then they would be also on the Siebel. So it was like a duplicate work. So eliminating that, now what we do is we use this security model so that we don't have to create or synchronize or manage any users on the BI Publisher server. Instead of that, when we send a request to BI Publisher server would come back to Siebel and validate that user. Okay, it would validate the user's credentials like the user ID, the password. It would also check for the roles or responsibilities that user has in order to run the BI Publisher report, and then it would allow that user to run the report. So all of that authentication, authorization as we call in the security world is done, and it would be a problem if you don't create a user on the other server. So this is why we created this Siebel security model. I would discuss this a bit more in detail, Siebel security model, What this one uses actually is a specialized web service. Okay, it's an inbound web service. It's called as the BIP Siebel Security Web Service, which is sitting on the Siebel side. Okay, so BI Publisher, you go into those special screens, you enter all the information needed for the security model. But when BI Publisher wants to interact with Siebel, it interacts using this web service. Then there are these 4 responsibilities, as we call in Siebel. We have to create these 4 responsibilities, and they have their own purpose. So something like XMLP admin has an administrator level access, XMLP underscore developer would be developer access, XMLP underscore scheduler is allowed for. So that's another feature that we now allow. We actually allow for a user to actually schedule a report. Okay, so that's a new feature which came out with Siebel 8111. Then XMLP underscore Siebel underscore guest is a user level responsibility or role. Okay. We also need to ensure that Siebel EAI Object Manager is enabled and online. Okay, and I'll tell you why when we do the demo. So the EAI Object Manager comes into play whenever we enable the Siebel security model. So we learned a few sites before we saw the application OM. We also saw the XMLP report server component, which we said that, okay, this is important. And then the EAI Object Manager is also the third component which is needed for supporting. On the BI Publisher server setup, we do these. There are these parameters which can be set up. So there is a security model which has to be set to Siebel security. There is a special endpoint URL which we have to set it to this thing. Then there is the administrator user and administrator password which would be needed when the web service or when the BIP server tries to interact with the Siebel application to get the users authenticated. Okay, so this is that special user ID and password. With that, I would like to take a look at this small demo. And here we would quickly go through whatever we discussed in the slides, and let's see if you guys can make a sense out of this. So I am switching over to the lab environment that I have for the demonstration. And you guys would now see a server log on screen. I am trying to log on into one of our lab environments. I would first show you the home folder. Okay. Now, once your installation is done, this is the home folder, the BIP home folder. And this is the structure that you would see right here. And this is the famous README file that I was talking about. I'll quickly open this one. So if you can see this, let me make it a little bit bigger. So you can see this is it. This is the actual URL that we'll be using, username and password. Now this is the BI Publisher administrator user which gets created automatically when we install. And then there are these commands, how to start BI Publishers, how to stop BI Publisher, right here. So this is a good file, generally useful for the administrators. We close this one. So this is the folder structure, and the folder that I would like you to see is this one, OC4JBI, and under this we have a J2EE. Under this we have the home folder, then we go to the applications. Under the applications we have XMLP server, we expand this. Under the XMLP server we have another XMLP server, which is this one. And under this we have the web INF and the lib. Now this is a critical folder because this is the place where we said this is the long path that we saw in the slide, where we have to copy these Siebel jar files. Okay, so if you look at this right here, we have Siebel custom XMLP, we have Siebel custom XMLP underscore SIA. We have the XSL functions jar over here. So So these jar files are to be copied in order to make BI Publisher work with Siebel. Okay. And these files actually would reside on the Siebel Server Classes folder. So let me show you that quickly before we actually see the application. So this is my Siebel installation. Within Siebel we have Siebel Server, and within that we have the classes. So right in this folder you can see all these files, and you would relate them right here. So this is custom XMLP, this is the Excel functions. So we literally just copy them. And these are the two files that I was talking to you about these. Okay. So if you have signature capture feature, then you need to copy them also. With that, let's look into the BI Publisher site. Let me just log out for a second. And this is how the BI Publisher server page looks like, the admin console. You can access it by directly typing this URL over here, which is the hostname :9704/XMLP server. Or if you click on the start menu, all programs, and then Oracle BIP Home, this is right here. Okay. Now one more thing that I would like to tell you, you have these commands, start BI Publisher and stop BI Publisher. Now for me, I already started it. So when I start the BI Publisher's instance, OC4J instance, it actually runs like this. Okay, this is the OC4J container, and you can see all these paths and files. The key thing that you need to look at is towards the end, I would show you, it's the initialized status. So right here, you can see. When you see this message, this means that the BI Publisher has initialized and it is started, and you can log into it. So let me just log in as the administrator user. And the password for the administrator user is administrator, unless you want to change it. And now you would see these tabs. There is a reports tab, there is a schedules tab, there is an admin tab. So before looking at this reports tab, let's go to the admin tab and try to look at that particular setting which I told you. It's right here under the properties. And down below, you would see a setting called as disable external references, this one. Now by default it is set to true. These are all the default values in this column, in the rightmost column. Now over here you can click on the drop down and you can select whatever you want. So you wanted to change it to, like we have to change it to false. Once you change it to false, you just hit the apply button and you have to restart BIP. That's what the documentation says. So you have to hit this apply button and then the changes get saved. But for those changes to get effective, you have to restart BIP. So this is one. And then also let's look at the other thing, which is the security configuration. So I want to show you how Siebel security is configured. I'm going back to the admin. So in the admin tab, there is a security center and then there is a security configuration. So here you would see that somewhere down below, right here where the security model section is, we have defined Siebel security. And then look at this URL. Okay. Now here in the URL is where you see that the EAI_EANU is being used. Okay. And this is why I said that you need the EAI object manager to be online and available. And then you have the administrator username, password right here. So once you do all of that, we go back into Siebel. So this is the BI Publisher setup of it. Let's go back into Siebel. I'll quickly show you the web services. that we talked about. So we go into the administration web services. We have the outbound web services, which we saw in that picture, if you guys all remember. It's called as the public report service. So let me query for that, public star. Okay, so now you see two versions of this, but this is the one that we use now. The first one was used with the initial release of PI and Siebel, which was Siebel 8.11. When that release came out, we used this web service, but then we made a lot of enhancements to that business service, and now we use this web service, which has this V11 in it. Okay, so this is a new web service. And similarly, for the security model part of it, we have an inbound web service that is used. So I'll query for that. BIP, that's, and it's called the Siebel Security Web Service. And here you would see the same URL that we use in the security model setting. So the same URL, you just have to copy paste from here. And let's quickly also take a look at this admin screen, which you would be looking at. These are the report standard templates. So all of these reports that you see in this view, these are all the standard reports which are available. So you can see all the report names in the very first column. So account list, account profile. So all of these are the ones which are readily available out of the box. And you can obviously create your own custom reports. Okay. So you have these here, and then you have a procedure to upload these files. Again, since I'm not talking more from the Siebel side in this webcast, so I would just say that remember this button. You click this button to get the report definition out from Siebel to the BI Publisher server. And once you do that, I will switch again to the BI Publisher server and go to the Reports tab. So let me go to the Reports tab, and I'll show you where the Siebel reports exist. So you see this Siebel CRM reports folder. This gets created when you upload a report. So it's right here. So you can see I have not uploaded all of them, so you don't see all 119 reports here, but some of them which I have uploaded you can see right here. Okay. Nothing much we have to do. Once you upload the report, that's it. You can happily just come back to Siebel and try to run that report. So we come back to Siebel. And if you guys can all now see my Siebel screen, I'm going to go to the accounts view, account screen, and then my accounts list view. So I have a few records over here. I would click on the reports icon. Now, although you see the actuate menu, this is messy, so you can pretty much control this menu to show only BIP or only actuate or both. Okay. So right now I have set it to both because that's the default, but you can very well change a system preference, and that system preference can hide whichever menu which you don't want. Okay, so let me just go to the BI Publisher section and quickly run this report. So here you see a pop-up which says select the output type. Now over here you can select these output types which are available. So you have PDF, HTML, RTF, Excel, PowerPoint. So I'll just select the PDF output. That's the most common which people are using these days. ENU is the report language, ENU is the locale. Now this is all coming by default because I am running an English language object manager and English language application, Siebel application. If you were running a multilingual Siebel application where you needed a different language or a different locale, that you can select from here. So you can select any of those. But for our test and our scenario, we just have the English language enabled. So I'll submit this request to BI Publisher. So over here in the background, all of the report data and the necessary parameters get sent over to BI Publisher server. And then once BI Publisher does its job, it gives you this pop-up. There's an option of open and saving. So I just say open if I want to see the report first. So I'll give it a few more seconds so that it paints completely on your screens. I just maximize this. So this is how the report looks like. And you can do whatever, right? You can print it, you can save it to your desktop. So all of those default things. Since this is a normal PDF file, you can even save it to your desktop or send it in an email. So this is what the output looks like. With that, we are pretty much done with the demonstration. I would quickly go back to the presentation and take you to this one important slide which might be of an interest to you guys. This is the helpful resources slide. So there are some of the things, there are a lot of things already published on the My Oracle support, but here are these few things which I would like you to take a look at when you go back. There's a BI Publisher product documentation which can be found on the OTN. This is the link. There's a Siebel bookshelf, and within a bookshelf, Siebel bookshelf, we have the report guide. Now this one, I believe this points to the latest bookshelf, which is for the Siebel 8115 release. There are other Siebel bookshelves and the report guide available if you query search for them. But this is the most latest, so it will talk about the latest features that are available in the Siebel BIP reports. Now, there is one important article which we call as the Product Information Center that's available on the My Oracle support, and this is the doc ID. So anything there, you would find a lot of good information about any trainings that come up, any other special KMs that we create, any upgrade, install instructions, some useful upgrade scenarios, and how to upgrade kind of thing. So all of that information can be located here in this particular doc ID on My Oracle support. So with that, I would move to the Q&A, and over to you.
Thank you very much, Ted. We hope everyone found the presentation valuable today. We'll open our Q&A in just a moment, so please use the chat feature or the phone lines at this time to let us know you have a question. Deshanta, could I ask you to give instructions once again for those on the phone line?
As a reminder, to ask an audio question, please press star 1 on your telephone keypad. We'll pause for just a moment to compile the Q&A roster.
And while we're pausing, I want to remind everyone of a few things. The first is, in the next 48 hours, I will be sending out a PDF along with the download and streaming links for this presentation. So this is kind of a hint that if you go out and see a webcast of interest, just go ahead and sign up for it, even if you have a calendar conflict. Then you'll know you'll be pushed the PDF and the download and streaming links within 48 hours after the presentation. Also, it will be posted out on My Oracle Support under My Oracle Support Training Central, and then you would click on Recorded Training. If you're more comfortable with using doc numbers, if you go out to My Oracle Support, doc number 740964.1, you'll be able to find this after 48 hours. Again, that's 740964.1. And then the third thing is, if you think of a question after we end today, just go ahead and respond to that email from me with the PDF and the download and streaming links, and I'll forward it on to Chet and answer on a one-off basis. So with all that said, we do have a question here. How do you add data source JDBC for RAC database? as JDBC allows you only to enter only one node of the RAC.
Thank you for the question. Again, now this question I would say pertains to more of the Siebel BI Publisher, not the Siebel, but the Oracle BI Publisher enterprise product assets. Now, to answer that, I can still answer that. You can set up a JDBC source, but again, in the context of this advisor webcast, where we are strictly using BI Publisher for Siebel, I may not be able to answer your question in the whole.
Okay. So really this customer should open an SR with
the was it the EBS? Is that what I got? What's the application? What's the front end application, or what's the back end application? What is the data source? Is it the Oracle data source?
OBIEE.
Okay, OBIEE. Yeah. In that case, yes, they can pretty much open up an SR with the OBIEE team, and then they can answer that.
Okay, because we're really trying to keep our questions specific to the Siebel BI Publisher interface.
That's correct.
Okay. Okay. Deshanta, any questions from your audience?
There are no audio questions.
Okay. Like I said, I always want to give you enough time. I know I tell you a lot of things and features to do, and I know a lot of times there will be a conference room with a group of ask. So I guess what I want to say is don't be listening to me at this time. Think of those questions that you want to ask, and we'll ask Chetan to answer. Okay, one last time. Deshanta, any questions from your group?
There are no audio questions.
Okay, and I'm not seeing any additional questions on the chat feature. So with that, I want to thank Chetan and thank everyone for joining today's Oracle Advisor Webcast. We hope you found this webcast valuable, and we look forward to you seeing us again. Thank you very much.
Thank you all.
Okay. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. This concludes today's conference call. You may now disconnect.